Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're getting into something that's on the mind of a lot of parents, preparing a new driver for the roads in Burnaby. We're going to break down the unique challenges, some of the hidden risks you might not have thought of, and what really effective driver training actually looks like. Let's dive in.
For any parent with a new driver in Burnaby, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because sure, passing the test gets you a license, but is that really enough to feel confident when they're merging onto Highway 1? The reality is, navigating our local roads is a completely different ballgame.
So, let's start by looking at what we're really up against. We need to understand the specific hurdles new drivers are facing right here in Burnaby. And trust me, it's way more than just parallel parking.
Just think about how specific these challenges are. We're talking about merging onto a highway at 100 kilometers an hour, dealing with a constant stop-and-go multi-lane mess on Kingsway, or trying to navigate the flow on a busy corridor like Willingdon. And that's before you even factor in our famous rain-slicked roads, the crowds of pedestrians around Metrotown, or all the cyclists on Boundary. It makes it pretty clear that standard driver's ed, which is often just about passing a simple test, doesn't really prepare you for these kinds of complex, high-stress situations.
Now, you might think the biggest danger is one of those specific road hazards, but it's not. The real risk for new drivers is actually a hidden flaw in the fundamental way they learn to drive. Driver education experts have a name for it, the practice gap. And it's this critical failure point where just logging supervised hours with mom or dad doesn't automatically mean you're mastering the skills. It all comes down to the quality and structure of that practice, not just the sheer number of hours.
And this chart, wow, this really puts the problem into perspective. ICBC recommends over 30 hours of supervised practice. But when you look at global best practices based on years of safety research, the number is 120 hours. That is a massive difference. It shows that just meeting the local minimum can leave a huge gap in a new driver's experience and, honestly, their readiness for the road.
So the big question is, how do you bridge that gap? Well, it starts with a completely different way of thinking about what driver education should even be.
On the one hand, you've got your standard training. The focus? Passing the test. What does it teach? Basic car operation. And the end goal? Getting that license. But look at the approach on the right. It's a total shift in mindset. The focus is now on collision avoidance for life. It's not just about how to operate the car, it's about teaching a driver how to literally survive on the road by building proactive, defensive habits that will stick with them forever.
Okay, so this philosophy is backed by two key things that work together to close that practice gap we talked about: a much better curriculum and some really innovative technology.
First up, the in-car training. This goes way beyond what most programs teach. We're talking about exclusive evasive maneuvers for actual worst-case scenarios. Stuff like how to avoid getting rear-ended or hitting someone head-on, how to slam on the brakes in an emergency without losing control, or what to do if you drift onto a gravel shoulder. These are the skills you hope you never, ever need, but they are absolutely critical if you do.
And to tackle that practice gap, technology can be a game changer. It can transform that unstructured and, let's be honest, sometimes stressful practice time with a parent into real, measurable skill building.
It's an app called the Driver's Coach. It's pretty cool. It uses AI to track practice drives and gives real-time feedback on things like speed control and spotting hazards. After the drive, you can go over safety scores and insights to see exactly where you need to improve. It can even simulate the ICBC road test to build confidence. It's basically like having a neutral, expert third party in the car, making every single practice drive more structured and way more productive.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but does this different approach actually create better, safer drivers? Well, the data on this is incredibly clear.
In a detailed independent assessment of different driving school curriculums, the Young Drivers program scored an 87 out of 100, and the average score for their regional competitors? Just 64. That 23-point gap is huge. It represents a major difference in the quality of the curriculum, instructor training, and the technology they use. And this isn't just about scoring well on a test. A large-scale study found that drivers who go through this type of certified professional training have 26% fewer collisions than drivers who don't. That is a massive, real-world impact on safety, 26%. And these benefits really last. Like this Reddit user points out, after almost 30 years of safe driving, the investment totally pays for itself. The defensive driving principles become lifelong habits. And let's face it, a visit to an auto body shop, or worse, is way more expensive than getting the right training from day one.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this.
The goal should never be just about passing the test. It has to be about preparing a new driver for a lifetime of safety and real independence on the road, giving them the skills to handle literally anything Burnaby's roads can throw at them.
And that brings us right back to the core decision for parents. It leaves us with one final and really important question. When you hand over those keys and your teenager drives off alone for the first time, what is the true value of your peace of mind?